If there's one Georgia Bulldog defender that I think Kirby Smart is hoping and praying has a breakout type of season, I think it has to be defensive lineman Jordan Hall. He is a former five-star that came into Georgia with high expectations, but we haven't really seen a ton of him lately, not because of his talent, but because he's been banged up. He's had two big-time leg/ankle injuries that has kept him from being a star player so far for the Georgia Bulldog defense. And to be honest, that group is not super deep right now. And Jordan Hall, I still think, if he's healthy, has the potential to be a game-changing type of defensive lineman. And as you know, and as we've seen when Georgia won their national championships, you have to have bullies, you have to have dogs, you have to have elite defensive linemen who can change the game on the defensive line, right? And you probably need more than one. Right now, Georgia's looking for that guy. They're looking for that elite, disruptive defensive lineman who can just make plays in the backfield on any particular play, right? We saw what happened when they had Jordan Davis and Devontae White and Jalen Carter and Trayvon Walker on and on and on, right? They had 4-5 defensive linemen who could just take over on any particular play. Jordan Hall has the potential to be that, but he's been banged up, right? He missed a lot of time last year. He only appeared in 6 games as a reserve defensive lineman last year. Only made 4 tackles, right? Played more as a freshman in 2023. Again, he was a 5-star, right? He was a big deal. The kid can absolutely play. He did play in 10 games as a freshman, had 3-4 tackles against Tennessee. It was a really nice game. So when he's in there and he's healthy and he's giving it his all, he is a really good player and a guy that I think Georgia really needs to be healthy and to be at his best this upcoming season. But still, he was able to talk to reporters this week about his injury. He's not 100% yet. Here's what he said about how his health is going and how quickly he can get back on the field. He said, quote, "I would not say I'm 100% yet, but I am better than before, so that's a plus. I'm at 75, 80%, which I think Georgia would take that, especially if there's a green arrow going up there." He said, "I'm just trying to take my work way back up. At Georgia, you're never going to be 100% though, so it doesn't really matter." And he's right. As we've seen, especially last year, injuries happen, and they happen often. Whether it's on the offensive line, Georgia had major injury issues there. They had to circle guys around basically on a weekly basis. The running back room is banged up, and they had some injuries on the defensive line as well. And Christian Miller's another guy on the defensive lineman who's had his share of injuries throughout his Bulldog career. I think he's probably the best defensive lineman that Georgia has right now if Jordan Hall is not 100%. Still, Christian Miller's had to fight through injuries, and he's a guy that they need as well. I think he is a good to really good player, but I think Jordan Hall has the potential to be elite. But he's got to get on the field and he's got to stay on the field. And if he's 100%, I think year 3 could be a possible breakout, ball out type of season for Jordan Hall. And again, they need someone to do it, right? I don't know if Christian Miller can be elite. I think he could be really good and one of the best in the SEC, but there's other guys trying to emerge as well. Joseph Jonah Ajanye is another former 5-star. I keep saying that over and over. He was a freshman last year and saw some playing time early. Didn't have a great game against Kentucky when he got in there. That was kind of his welcome to SEC moment. Got injured after that. I believe had to have season-ending surgery. We didn't see him again, but he's another guy who, if healthy, which I feel like you have to say with everyone, if they're healthy, they have the potential to be really good. Jordan Thomas was a freshman last year. He's a guy that I think, could surprise a lot of people. Nazir Johnson is a 300-pound athletic interior defensive lineman. He's out of Dublin High School. This will be his second year. I think he's trying to fight for some playing time. Nnamdi Agboko is a big nose guard type, 330, 340 guy who can kind of stuff the run and be a focal point on the interior. But Jordan Hall, I still think, can be explosive. He's got a lean frame, but on GeorgiaDogs.com, he's 6'4", 320. And the guy kind of moves like a cat, and he's really quick, and he's got big, strong hands. And, he played out of Jacksonville. There was a reason he was a 5-star prospect. And I remember when Georgia signed him, I remember speaking to his coaches for a couple weeks before he made his decision. They just raved about him on and on and on. I couldn't get off the phone. They just wanted to keep talking about how great he was on and off the field and the potential he had. So I bought in, and I had the feeling, okay, I see why he's a 5-star. And I didn't want to compare him to Jalen Carter, but I felt like he played that type of way. When I watched him in high school and Jalen Carter in high school, same type of size, same explosiveness, same, the way they play with leverage is what I'm trying to say. The way they fight off blocks easily, those big violent hands, they just shed blocks. It's so tough to get a hold on those guys and move them backwards. But Jordan Hall played in 10 games as a freshman because he's really good. And he probably would have played a lot more last year if it weren't for that injury. Here's what Kirby Smart had to say about Jordan Hall last week as well. He said, I don't know if you'd say he's completely back. I feel like he's getting to be completely back. He may not feel like that. He would still, he say, banged up and bruised up and getting used to the gauntlet of practice. The good thing about spring, he gets a day off in between to recover, but he's looking much better and much more healthy. He had his pins taken out, his screws taken out, so he's practiced much better so far this spring than he did at the finish of last year. And we need him to be an integral part of leadership on this team. So that tells you right there how much Kirby Smart, what he feels about Jordan Hall. Because again, this is a guy that missed a lot, if not most of last season. And Kirby's saying, hey, not only do we need this guy to play, we need him to be a leader. And this is a guy who can be vocal and does show a lot of leadership strengths and attacks practice, attacks the day, and wants to get better. This kid loves being at Georgia, and he could have hit the transfer portal, easily, right? 2 years in Athens, been banged up, a couple injuries, haven't played the way I wanted to, haven't seen the field as much. Again, not because of a lack of talent, but because of the injuries. It wouldn't have surprised me at all if he said, you know what, I just need a fresh start somewhere else to kind of take my career a different way. But no, he said, I want to be a Dog, I want to be a Georgia Bulldog, and I want to start, and I want to play, I want to make an impact, and I want to be the next great Georgia defensive lineman. And I think he has the potential to be that. And if he does, I think Georgia could have a special season. I think they're going to be really good on defense. I think they'll be even better if this young man, again, in year 3, if he's healthy, plays the way I think he can and becomes the player that I think and the staff thinks that he could be, especially out of high school. They had a plan for him, and they knew that, okay, this guy could be special. And I still think the potential is there. Now, another setback would be, I don't want to say catastrophic, but, Jordan Hall was really honest with the media when they asked him about his injuries and how it affected him. And, he said he broke down after that second injury, and he just said that he kind of lost it. And, not mentally, but, just crying, right? It took him a while to mentally get over another injury that happened that halted his second year, one that he felt like he was going to make some progression from a freshman to sophomore. And he said it's not easy being at Georgia. Even if you're healthy, the practices are hard. Everything is tough. And when you're dealing with an injury, not only do you have to get over it physically, but you have to get over it mentally as well. And he said, I'm just trying to take it day by day, get healthier, because I want to be with my team. I want to help the team and be with my teammates and improve with them and make an impact. And again, if he's healthy, I think he should be out there, but there's no guarantee that he even starts. They've got Xavier McLeod, and they've got, a few other guys, like I mentioned. Elijah Griffin, the true freshman 5-star, turning heads in Athens right now in his first spring, should be in high school. He's not. He's in Athens getting after it and really impressing. I've said it many times. I think he is going to see the field often and make an impact as a freshman this fall. But if he's on the field, that means other guys aren't. And one of those other guys could be Jordan Hall. But if Kristen Miller is healthy and Jordan Hall is healthy, and the defensive linemen they signed from that 24 class take another step forward, I do think the defensive line will be pretty good. I don't know if they have an alpha. I think Jordan Hall could be. I think he probably has the highest ceiling and might be the best NFL draft prospect if he's healthy. I know I keep saying that, but he's had 2 injuries now, and you can't expect anyone to be fully healthy. And he even said, no one's 100%, but he's getting close. And if he can escape the spring without taking a step backwards from a physical standpoint, and he shows up 100% ready to get after it in September to start the season, I think Jordan Hall is going to make a lot of big-time plays. And if you're just a casual, average Georgia fan that maybe have forgotten about him already, I think he's going to really surprise people and could be possibly one of the best defenders or defensive linemen, not only in the SEC, but across the country. I still feel that way, and I still feel like he has that potential if it all comes together and he is healthy. I think he's a really, really good player, and I think Georgia needs him to be. They need him to be the guy that they thought he could be when they recruited him, because Again, if you don't have an elite defensive line, you're not making it to the end of the season. You're not holding up a trophy at the end of the year. You have to have a dominant defensive line with multiple guys who can absolutely wreck any particular play. He's got that potential. I think Christian Miller has shown flashes of that as well. Elijah Griffin will be one day. I think he'll make some impact, probably more than some. But if other guys emerge too and give them some depth, I think that's going to go a really long way. It's going to make things easier for the linebackers. It's going to give the defensive backs opportunities to make plays in coverage. If these defensive linemen are, attacking the quarterback and making things tough on the offensive line. So just a guy to keep an eye on if you've forgotten about him. He was a 5-star for a reason. He'll enter year 3 this fall. And if he's healthy, I think Jordan Hall could have a massive 2025 season. Thanks for watching. Hope you learned something. You can read more about this and a lot of other stuff over on Dawg Post. Make sure you're doing that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the website.